Hello everyone, welcome back. It's realBluTV once again with another guide. This time we're going to be doing Dahlia. Now in the last video, if you didn't watch that one, go ahead and check that out. It was all about Vi, and I said in that video that Vi is usually your IGL. You got to do a lot of things with Vi. She's trying to get a lot of cash flowing in that bank account so that she can get a lot of those items that are very much needed in her kit. And the same can be said about Dahlia. I mean, look at players like Gronky. If you don't watch any of the competitive esports side of Rogue Company, go ahead and watch it. We've got some videos on my channel recapping most of the big events, the larger events that have happened for Rogue Company. But Gronky is one of those founding players that you look at and say, wow, that's a really good player. What does he play? He's the IGL. He's fragging a lot. Even if he's bottom fragging, he's still getting a lot of economy. And what does he play? He plays Vi and he plays Dahlia. Both of those two characters most of the time. Now, we've done a guide on Dallas as well. And Dallas, Vi, two of the best characters right now in this current meta as of January 2021. And Dahlia is right up there with them. I would say Dahlia is still probably the best rogue in the game just because of her ability to revive people without touching them and within 2 seconds if you have that lifeline. But let's talk about her. She is the mastermind of squad-based tactics. Dahlia now brings her expertise to Rogue Company as the fire team leader. Her ability, Danger Close, links to an ally for a full round. That ally can be revived by reactivating the ability within 30 meters. That is where you're able to revive people without even touching them. You can just hit your revive and then continue shooting someone to protect that person being revived, or give yourself another advantage. Possible 1v1 without taking your gun out of it. Her passive is Buddy System. Now this inherits your linked ally's passive for the duration of the round. So sometimes we see people link to other certain rogues for their passive ability, which is most commonly known as the Trench Dahlia combo. When Dahlia first came out, they were linking trenches so that they can get a extra gadget where they would have 2 grenades instead of 1, or they would have 2 smoke grenades instead of 1. And when they upgrade their smoke grenade, then they would have 3 instead of 2. So she's very useful. She's very high tier. I think that the skill gap isn't that too hard or too big with her once you realize what you can do better and what you can do with her. Let's take a look at her loadout. She has the objection. It's a sleek SMG that unleashes a withering hail of bullets. It is very good. I will tell you this. This gun is good. Tier 1 upgrade reduces the recoil. The Tier 2 upgrade increases your reload speed. And the Tier 3 upgrade increases the damage range and suppresses the firing. The range goes from 10 to 13 units. The gun is very good. The reload time upgrade goes from 1.35 to 1.05, and the recoil takes the handling from 35 to 38. This gun is good. The objection is good. Don't get me wrong. But for other primary, the MXR, the DMR rifle, that is the better option in my opinion. See a lot of people who are trying to be pro competitions and tournaments, whatever, the $8,000 events with PMG, we see them using MXR. The rifle is way good. The objection does 11 damage to the body per bullet. The MXR does 32. It has a slower fire rate, but then again, if you down someone with 3 to 4 body shots, you're going to take that and try and get yourself shoot faster, get better aim. DMR is the way to go. That's what I do use the wingman sometimes in strikeout, maybe sometimes in but in the demolition setting, I'm grabbing that MXR. The Tier 1, the MXR, increases the magazine size. It takes it from 12 to 18. The second upgrade increases your damage range. It's pretty huge actually. It goes from 27 units to 32.5 units. 5.5 difference in upgrade. And upgrade number 3 suppresses the firing and reduces the your handling goes from 34 to 41, which is, and you get a suppressor on your gun. Talk about her pistol and her melee, her lethal and her utility. She has the Executioner. Again, just like Vi, it's an all-around really good pistol. First upgrade increases the magazine size from 12 to 16, and the second upgrade increases hipfire accuracy and reduces, or excuse me, it reduces the recoil from 28 to 30 accuracy. I don't know the numbers on the hipfire accuracy. She also has a katana, of course. That first upgrade increases the throw damage. Second upgrade increases swing damage. I don't ever think you're gonna need swing damage, but hey, I wouldn't recommend that if you're trying to win ranked games. Her lethal and her utility, she has a smoke grenade, which is, you know, a thick cloud of obscuring smoke. We all know what smoke grenades are, hopefully. And she also has a normal frag grenade, which I hope you know what those are too. It's a frag grenade in almost any basic shooting game that has them. You throw it, it blows up. You can even cook them. Cooking them, if you don't know, hold it in your hand, count to 4, throw that thing, and it'll explode on impact instead of having to just put it on the ground and let the timer run. The smoke grenade's first upgrade increases the smoke duration, so it's a longer smoke grenade, and it reduces enemy movement speed in the smoke. So if an enemy is inside the smoke, their movement speed is reduced. A lot of people forget about that, and I think that actually comes in handy, especially with tracker rounds being as so important right now in the current state of the meta, because then you can reveal them inside the smoke and they'll be slowed inside the smoke. Second upgrade increases the grenade count by 1, so you'll have 2 smoke grenades. For the grenade, the first upgrade increases explosion radius, and the second one is damage increase 5. So even if they have armor, if that grenade connects to them for the full 125, it will down them. Talk about her perks. Of course, she's got 2 $4,000 perks, 2 $6,500 perks, and 2 10K perks. In the $4,000 range, we have Shredder rounds and Cloaked. Talked about Cloaked in the last video with Vi, where it drastically reduces the duration of enemy reveals, but it does not apply to persistent reveals. This is it's still a decent perk. It's not as good as what it used to be, but it's much more crucial now because of how important reveals are because of this nerf. So it's kind of, you need it, but it's not going to be as great. Shredder rounds deals more damage to equipment and carries more ammunition. You don't need more ammunition in demolition. The fights don't last that long. If they do, you can find a gun or you can use a pistol in certain situations. You also have frag grenades with Dahlia, so don't worry about that. Shredder rounds is really good for when you have an anvil on the opposing team. If they keep trying to plant the bomb with a shield to protect it, then shoot the shield and you'll do more damage. And then vice versa on the other side, if you're on the attack and they're trying to defuse. For $6,500 perk, she has one that we talked about with Vi, which is Tenacity. You take reduced damage from explosives. This is huge, especially if there's a lot of explosives on the team. Her other $6,500 perk is Stalker. Now this removes your aim down sights movement speed penalty, and this is what another one that we talked about and covered in the Dallas guide. This lets you aim your gun and have the same movement speed, and instead you won't be slowed with the penalty for when you're aiming your gun. Let's talk about her 10K perks. She has Replenish. Let's do that one first because we talked about that with Vi as well. When you down an enemy, it reloads your currently equipped weapon and it restores your ammunition. So instead of getting Shredder rounds, if you feel like you're running out of ammo a lot, you can get Replenish. And then last but not least, the most important perk and probably the most important tool in Dahlia's kit is Lifeline. Okay, it's that little one with the little heart monitors and the arrow going around it. Lifeline revives teammates significantly faster and starts their health regeneration immediately. This is important for 2 reasons. One, it's better than Helping Hands because she's able to use it by just reviving people with her ability or reviving them naturally by getting on one knee, picking them up. This does a revive in I think 2 seconds, maybe 2.5, but it's significantly faster than Helping Hand itself. Also, it starts the health regeneration immediately. So if the enemy team knows that you're reviving, you can get that revive off faster. And if the enemy team is pushing into you because they know you're reviving and they don't want you to get it off, that person's health that just got revived super quickly by yourself, their health regeneration will start immediately instead of that little delay that we usually have. So let's go ahead, let's jump into the shooting range and let's take a look at how I build through the kit. All right, so here we are inside the shooting range. We have the kit open and we're ready to go. With Dahlia, it depends what I buy first, depending on which side I'm on. Am I on the attacking side or am I on the defending side? Now, if I am attacking, I am going to buy a smoke grenade first. The only time I don't buy a smoke grenade is if we have a plethora of smoke grenade availability on my side. And even then, if you are with your friends or you're in a coordinated, people are using their mics, you're in a coordinated environment with a team that is communicating through mics, or you guys are working together, most likely Dahlia's the support player. She's going to grab the smoke, and that is why I grab it on attack, okay, in the pistol round, first round of the attacking side. If you have a Ronin or a Lancer, they're better off getting that grenade for the Ronin, getting that Semtex for the Lancer, because you will have the smoke and they are going to be playing more aggressive. And your job is to kind of just, keep it calm, stay alive, and be able to get your teammates up with your link, be able to use their passive for yourself to your advantage as well. And your job is to kind of watch the back line, especially if you have a Ronin, a Lancer, things like that. They're going to push up. They're going to play aggressive. You can play a little bit more passive, unless, of course, if you're playing aggressive with them. And still, the smoke can come in handy there, especially with the reveal meta if you have a Dallas even. I will go with the smoke grenade if I'm on attack for my first round. If I'm on defense, of course, I go with the grenade because I want the defenders to get punished if they overextend, or if I catch one spot where I can nade it pretty easily. Again, I cook those most of the time. 99% of the time, I'll be cooking my load on impact instead of them see the grenade next to them, get away and get it. So again, if I'm on defense, I'm going grenade first. If I'm on attack, I'm going smoke grenade. Now, let's talk about what happens afterwards. If I have a good round, whether I'm on attack or defense, if I have a good enough round, come into the plane at the start of round 2, and I have $10,000 or more, I'm grabbing this perk immediately, especially if the rest of my team is able to get primary weapons in their hand. If we win the round and I'm able to get lifeline, I'm getting lifeline, because then the rest of my teammates are going to be able to grab their big guns and their primaries. They can kind of protect me. The Executioner is still a really good pistol, especially if you learn how to play your angles and you don't put yourself in a straight up 1v1 gunfight with someone on the other team that has a primary. If they don't, then you can go ahead and put yourself in that fight if you feel confident enough to win. If you feel super confident to win against a primary weapon in a 1v1 situation with the Executioner, go ahead. But for the most part, I kind of still play that support role, hang back a little bit, but I have that lifeline perk, so I'm able to pick up my teammates much faster and start their health regeneration immediately, because I have that so fast in the game and I rushed it as quickly as possible. If you still have money left over and you had a great round and you want to buy a primary, go ahead and buy a primary. I wouldn't grab a grenade even if I have the 4K, because I'm trying to get maybe my primary and then something else in the next round. So for the time being, I'm going to just stay with lifeline if I'm able to. If I'm not able to get lifeline, then of course I get my primary being the MXR. If I can't get either of those after the first round, then most likely I will get either tenacity or a grenade. It depends on what the situation is. I'll get a grenade if they don't have anyone with, if they don't have a team with a lot of explosives, or maybe I got messed up by a demon in the first round, and that's why I don't have enough money for primaries. So I'll go with tenacity. The other thing to note is if you do good enough to get lifeline, but your teammates didn't do good enough to get their primaries, I'm going to go with the MXR straight up. That way I'll be able to have a primary, and my teammates who don't have primaries don't have to rely on their pistols as much, because I'll have that. So we want our MXR and we want our lifeline as quickly as possible. You have to wait until the third round to get this perk. No biggie. Don't worry about it. I try to get it as fast as possible in the second round. And then if I'm able to still get my MXR, that's great. If not, I'm looking to get that in the third round. Okay. Again, team doesn't have primaries, or maybe you didn't win the round and you're able to get a primary but not lifeline, go with the MXR, get lifeline the next. So by round 3, you should have these 3 things on attack. If you're on defense, you should have these 3 by round 3. Now, for the rest of the kit, I kind of just go with the flow for what's happening in the game. I'll usually grab a smoke and a grenade, whether I'm on offense or defense, or attack or defense. It just generally depends on which one I'm starting, which one I'm building in first. The rest of the kit, pretty much simple. I'll have tenacity for the most part. I usually go with this MXR being double upgraded. That way I have 18 bullets in my clip and I have the increased damage range. If I'm doing super well in a game, I'm hitting that $120,000 mark towards the end of the game, yeah, sure, I'll get suppressive fire and recoil with the third upgrade, but I want to make sure I get my other stuff online first. Mainly being the double upgraded smoke, so I have 2 of them on attack. Even on defense, these are super helpful because you can shut down angles from the attackers who are holding the bomb, or excuse me, after they plant the bomb, they're holding their angles so that you can't get to the bomb. You can use smoke grenades to take that line of sight away from them and to provide your team a way to retake the site so that you can get better angles to fight the enemy and to get the, especially if you have someone like an Anvil on defense who wants to be able to get in there, plant his shield, and use the bomb from behind the shield. You can smoke off the enemy's line of sight so that he get the shield plate. The smoke grenades are really good. I'll usually go with a single upgrade grenade just for that increased explosion radius. If I'm doing really well, then I'll get the double upgraded nade, but for the most part, I stick to the 1 upgrade. I'll also get cloaked if I need it. If the enemy team has an Anvil and we don't have an Anvil, because Anvil would be able to have shredder rounds himself with the LMG. But if we don't have that availability, then I'll grab the shredder rounds for myself to help our team break that shield a lot faster. Or if I get caught in a situation where my team is maybe watching the A bomb site and I'm on B and they plant the shield and I'm by myself, I can still faster. So these two, definitely situational. This one, Stalker, I used to like this perk, but I've kind of swayed away from it with Dahlia, especially because I'm just trying to build around the rest of. I'll grab a sword if I have that money as well. And this right here is looking like my basic build. This is what I'm aiming for most of the time. If we're doing well, we'll get that 3rd upgrade on this gun. If we're doing well, but we want to upgrade this, that's fine as well. Another good perk that is really good to have just naturally with a kit, no matter what the situation is, of course, is Stalker. Like I said, still a good perk, especially if you like peeking behind walls and not having that aim down sights movement penalty. Another thing that could be good to fit your playstyle, if it's a little different than mine, of course, replenish if you want to be able to mow people down, especially if you use protection, which again is a good gun. I just personally go with the MXR every single, much more higher power, and it has a really firing rate. Probably a top 2 gun in, if I had to say. All right, so that's pretty much it for Dahlia. That covers pretty much everything that I would like to tell you about Dahlia. Again, I think she's the best character in the game. I mean, Fixer was the best character in the game for quite some time. The nerf to him didn't really kill him. He's still really good, probably a top 4 character. But with Dallas moving into the top 3, Vi remaining there, and Dahlia remaining there, pretty tough, especially with Dahlia being so good with that lifeline perk and the MXR in her. So hopefully they don't nerf her anytime soon, because right now that's my favorite character. Has been at least. I know a lot of other people enjoy playing her. Pretty much a guaranteed pro match right now. There have been instances where she wasn't there, but again, she's great. I hope that you enjoy her if you're going to try her out for the first time. And remember, keep grinding, everyone.